All right, next up is Best Actress. Many critics have deemed this category weak this year. I don't know if I'd say weak. I'd say maybe there's not as many as there could have been.
Yeah.
There were many roles, such as Emily Blunt's role in The Young Victoria, which I saw. You know, it was very fantastic, but the material just dragged the whole thing down and just really kind of got forgotten.
Yeah.
Poor thing, she is a great actress, but and we'll get down right to it. My first pick, and I know you're definitely going to agree with me on this one because we've discussed this movie so many times.
Absolutely.
It's Zoe Deschanel in 500 Days of Summer.
So brilliant.
Wow.
What an amazing movie. Like, the movie itself, you just fall in love with. And she is just so good. And when she's matched with, you know, an equally as talented actor, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the two of them, their chemistry and their charm and the funness of watching them evolve and devolve as a couple, it's a joy to watch, and you just fall in love with her right away. She brings so much realism and so much just, like, you just relate to her right away, and she's so good. She's good.
She's wonderful in this film.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about her, too, is that I've gotten so many complaints from just the typical moviegoer. And she's like, oh, well, she's this, she's that. I mean, how could you like her character? Because she's drawn from reality.
Yes.
I've met so many girls like her, and it's just, well, not exactly like her. I mean, obviously, her character is built out more charming.
Bits and pieces, absolutely.
Again, it's like, you know, when, like, oh, she does that reminds me of so-and-so.
Yeah.
All through the movie, I was doing that.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, too, is that with her character, what I loved the most was that I could envision myself even dating somebody like this, you know, even though she may not believe in the same things I do in terms of love in that aspect, I still would be captivated by her and think that I could sway her, sort of like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character tried to, but at the same time ultimately failed. But you know, we were rooting for him because it. And there were times in this movie where we did just want to strangle her, but we loved her because of that, though, because she was being real to herself and to the movie and to the story involved. And I loved her.
Yeah, which is credit to her as an actress, and it's credit to the screenwriters as well, because they drew this from real life. I can't remember their names, unfortunately. I really wish that I could give them verbal and name credit for this, but they sat down and they said, okay, well, let's write a movie about love. They were two men who had been burned by so many girls, and they just compiled a bunch of stories and memories from past relationships, and they put it into a movie, and this is what came out of it. And it's so brilliant, and I hope it wins for screenplay, but I don't think it will. But I hope it at least gets nominated for original screenplay, because it's so original, and you really do. You know, a lot of people didn't like it because of the end, but the end is what makes it. It absolutely does. And there was something else that you said that I really wanted to expand on, but I can't remember. But yeah, she's just so good.
Yes, she was unbelievably wonderful in this film. And,
I remember. It was like, you know, her views on love and everything.
Yes.
You know, she's very true to herself, and she sticks with that. But then when she discovers that there is another side to it, you know, she kind of has like a change of heart, but she still stays true to herself in that. She's not like a different person. No. And that's credit to her as an actress. She just became that role.
Yeah. And that's what I loved about it too, is that the character herself is someone who doesn't really exist in movies.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, oh, all of a sudden my mind has changed because it's the final act, and I just
exactly.
Put this next to Jennifer Aniston's performance in Love Happens, a dreadful film, which made my 10 worst of the year, and compare the two and really look at them carefully, people, and just see what's truly the best. What's more normal? Who do you know out of those two? I don't know Jennifer Aniston's character. I've never met her. But next up for me is another Zoe Saldana from Avatar, who, in my opinion, gave the movie its identity, gave the tribe their identity, and I know she's under that whole thing.
I was going to say, does it count when she's computer generated?
But she gave
no offense, Zoe. I love you. I absolutely do. I think you're an incredible actress, but seriously.
Come on. I mean, I was arguing the same arguments for Tom Hanks 5 years ago on Polar Express. He may have been computer generated, but it was still him giving the character all the emotion.
I guess so. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, it might be that's what counts, and to me, she's always been someone who has been above the material she's been involved with in films like Crossroads or Guess Who with Ashton Kutcher. She's been above the material.
Even Star Trek.
Yes,
Star Trek. She just had like a small, not a small role. She was very prominent, but it was a supporting role.
It was.
But you noticed her. Oh, yes. You noticed her, and she made sure you noticed her.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's a good way for her to stand out. Another one, I don't think you've seen this. It was very limited. It was only up for week. It was Michelle Monaghan in a movie called Trucker, where if it was a male, you'd picture someone like Clint Eastwood playing this character. She's just a rough and just somewhat unlikable character who's forced into the situation of caring for her son, who she's never had anything to do with and never wanted anything to do with, when her ex gets sick, and her ex's now wife has to take care of him. So she has to take the son into her care, but really she doesn't care to have him around. And quite frankly, what I loved about the movie, the son didn't care to have her around either, because she is just not an easy person to love in this film. And here's someone who actually normally plays very likable characters. She really stepped out of her comfort zone in this film, and I just think that a lot of critics deem the film's material itself to be weak. I don't think it was. I thought it was spot on, perfectly for that kind of story. It's the same old story, but sometimes the same old story is pretty good. Like, maybe
especially if you have a strong character that brings another dynamic to it. You
really do. And you see her in a lot of supporting roles, such as Gone Baby Gone, which she was really good in, and I think here she really steps out on her own. All right, so do you have another pick for us?
Yes. I just love her, Marion Cotillard for 9.
Very charming actress.
She is so good, and you know, just a quick note is that her Oscar speech from 2008 is one of my favorite Oscar speeches of all time. She's French and she's so charming.
She really is.
Oh, I just love her, and I didn't cry in this movie as hard as I cried for My Sister's Keeper. Like, that actually bawled my eyes out. But this one, like, her performance did bring a tear to my eye, because she plays the battered wife, not battered wife, but the underappreciated wife of Daniel Day-Lewis. Unloved wife of Daniel Day-Lewis's character, Guido Contini, and she plays his wife, Louisa Contini. And he's mixed up in affairs and press and rumors and the whole 9 yards, and she just puts up with it and loves him despite of it.
Yes.
And she just brings such a vulnerability to this character.
She really did.
But you relate to her, and you feel what she's feeling, and you empathize with her, because you see what he's doing, and you see all the people that he's with, and all the things that he's mixed up as well. Like, Daniel Day-Lewis really brings a lot of soul to that character, but she just took it right from him.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think I liked 9 Years as much as you did. I just felt
it was okay. I didn't really love it, but it was okay.
It really lacked the elements that made a film, say, like Chicago.
Yeah, it's the same director.
Great. Yes.
Yeah, it definitely was not Chicago.
I hated that tagline where if you like Chicago, you'll love 9. And I said on my 10 best, and our cinematographer here was filming that. I said, and whoever came up with that tagline should be taken out back and beaten severely, because
it was no Chicago.
9 was merely a good film to me. It wasn't great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I even thought Daniel Day-Lewis, he was somewhat lost in some scenes. It just seemed like he was kind of out of his element here. Great actor, fantastic actor, but he just seemed a lot out of his element. I thought Kate Hudson, not a great performance, but probably her best in a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the reasons why I was excited for the film, was to see kind of these actors who have been kind of in La La Land for a while, you know, have some rich material to draw from, and they didn't really have that, unfortunately, from 9. But I do think Marion Cotillard deserves a nomination for this film. Absolutely. She got a Golden Globe nomination.